how to celebrate Pioneer Day safely, a defendant in Cedar City receives a prison sentence, and an iconic reptile is confirmed to be native.
You're watching St. George News at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Amy Bennett. Ahead of Pioneer Day, Utah Governor Spencer Cox urged residents to use fireworks safely to prevent wildfires, highlighting that human activity has caused most of the state's 552 wildfires this year. Cox emphasized checking local restrictions and being mindful of first responders. Fire restrictions are in place statewide, including bans on fireworks in certain areas to mitigate risks amid high temperatures, dry conditions, and flammable vegetation. 37-year-old Travis John Klett of Cedar City was sentenced to up to 5 years in prison after pleading guilty to possessing a stolen skid steer and attempting to falsify a bill of sale. Judge Matthew L. Bell sentenced Klett to concurrent 0 to 5 year terms for receiving stolen property and obstruction of justice. Klett's extensive criminal history, including multiple theft and burglary convictions, influenced the judge's decision. The sentence also includes revocation of probation from a prior felony case, potentially doubling Klett's prison time. The Utah Board of Pardons will determine the final duration of his imprisonment. Despite some local skepticism about their origins, studies and expert opinions affirm that Mojave Desert tortoises are native to southern Utah. We'll go to Alicia Lundgren for more on how researchers came to their conclusion.
While some southern Utahns may wonder if the Mojave Desert tortoise is native to the area, local biologists say they are confident this is the case, due to the population's density, the presence of other Mojave Desert species, and genetic evidence. While some evidence points to tortoises being introduced to the area, research indicates they likely bred with an existing native population.
Thanks, Alicia. Active Learning and Active Life will march on as Utah Tech University, the U.S. Army, and the Utah National Guard reintroduce an Army ROTC program in the fall 2024 semester. Here's Bridger Palmer with the full story.
Utah Tech University, the U.S. Army, and the Utah National Guard will reintroduce an Army ROTC program in fall 2024. This military science department will be housed in the McDonald Center. Initial instruction will be provided by Utah National Guard personnel, with significant scholarships available for ROTC students. Captain Dolan Bennett, an assistant professor of military science, said the program aims to develop lifelong learners and leaders.
Thanks, Bridger. Zion Utah Jellystone Park Camp Resort in Hurricane offers a variety of attractions, including a water park, amusement zone, RV park, and glamping accommodations designed to cater to tourists and residents. We'll go to Chris Reed to learn more about this new Southern Utah attraction.
After a long wait, Southern Utah finally has a theme park. Yogi Bear's Zion Utah Jellystone Park Camp Resort in Hurricane doesn't have the roller coasters of a lagoon or the Pirates and Mountains of Disneyland. Its water park is nowhere near as extensive as Wet n Wild, but it's here in southern Utah. While the main thrust of the resort is toward RVers and glampers staying for multiple nights, Zion Utah Jellystone Park Operations Manager Roy Smith said the place is also meant to be enjoyed by locals.
We want to take care of our locals, man. That's important to us.
For just under $30 for a day pass, locals can enjoy attractions in the water zone that includes 3 water slides, a lazy river, pools and spas, and a splash pad for the youngest visitors, including mini versions of the water slides. All that water goes through a special filtering system and mostly reused to reduce the amount of any water the park has to use from the city. Also keeping water use minimal, the park owns its own well that also supplies water to the resort. For locals are daycation cabins. For $149, a family can get an enclosed cabin to take a break. For the out-of-towners, there are larger cabins for multiple night stays, as well as large RV pads.
Our RV sites, they're over 80 feet long. They're large, so you can easily pull a big rig in there and have enough room to park your truck and side by side.
Thank you for watching St. George News at 5. I'm Amy Bennett with St. George News, your #1 source for local news.
This has been St. George News at 5.